Vámonos.
5, 4, 3. Oh, yeah. Chuck Zee.
Coming to you from the poorly painted studios in Cumming, Georgia, this is the Chuck and Z Show. And now, here's Chuck and Z.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck and Z Show. Of course, I am Chuck.
And I'm Z.
And with us, as always, is producer Chaos,
How are ya?
Miss Sharon Klein. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Yay.
Although we had a little chaos this time, it wasn't producer Chaos's fault.
Whew.
Things happen. But you know what? We'll just Bill O'Reilly it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live, right?
Do it live.
Want to give a quick shout out to Naomi. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make the show tonight, but we're just going to move forward with another Just Us podcast. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm sure we're going to talk about the holidays, probably talk some movie stuff again, guys. You just got to go ahead and get ready for that. We love movies. But hey, you know what? We didn't get a chance to do our pre-show shot. We were trying to get a few other things done. So do y'all want to go ahead and do it now?
Yes. We shall.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Stick it on the big screen. See if you can see everybody. Click the interview one. See. Oh, there we go. All right. Cheers, everybody, to a good show.
Cheers.
I missed you. Come on. There you go.
To a flawless show. Oh, I got the skull this time. Thanks.
I got Thanos as a Funko Pop. Oh, that was some Woodford.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited. We've got a lot coming up in the next couple of weeks. We got Friendsmas coming up.
Yes, next weekend.
I'm excited about that.
That's exciting. Actually, this weekend coming.
Yeah, that's this coming weekend. We've got a little bit of stuff to do. I'll be, just go ahead and put myself out there. I've literally not decorated a single thing yet. I haven't even put the tree up.
I know. Which will be up by Friendsmas.
But in our defense, this has been an interesting holiday season in that we've been traveling a lot. Work's had us all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot going on. I think you and I have been in more like today. We did a sales training today, and I had to talk about lizard brain for 35 minutes, which is always fun. I love talking about those type of topics. How engaging the lizard brain in a sales environment, etc. So it's a lot of fun, but it is taxing and tiring.
Yeah, it can be. Definitely.
It can be. So what you been up to, Sharon?
I'm not talking about lizard brain. Okay, this is what I did today. I have 2 bikes, and I haven't ridden in like 3 weeks, so I started them both and ran them in the garage with the doors open, and was the saddest person because it's freezing out today. Although it wasn't raining, it still was like 40 something, too cold for me to ride. But it's so sad to get my bikes up and running and looking good, sounding good. I'm like, what am I doing? I was like, I love you guys so much. I was excited. There are the sounds. I just need to get my gear on and go riding. But yeah, I mean, it's good to run them for a little while, especially when the weather gets cold. The batteries kind of die quick. But
yeah,
I was really sad that I wasn't able to ride.
It is sad. We haven't ridden in a couple of weeks either. And
Sucks.
I know, I get anxious.
I miss it.
It's just,
I get anxious.
It's not even like the cold. It was raining all weekend, and that's not the best weather to ride in. I wanted to ride on Saturday when we had our holiday event for the Litas, and it was torrential rain, right up until noon, and then it subsided and didn't rain at all until probably 5 o'clock. But by then I was already at the party, so I'm not gonna ride in the rain.
No, it seems like a conspiracy.
It does. I'm like
every weekend, even this coming weekend, I think there's rain again. So.
Even driving.
Oh boy, I can hear the piss pirates now.
No, they're like ride or die, right?
Look, you ain't a real rider. What, you got a little wet? Got a little wet.
Even driving, I was like, I literally saw a car on 400 because I have to take 400 to get into anywhere from where we live. They hydroplaned.
Oh, the worst.
And they were facing traffic as we were coming.
God.
We're going southbound and they were facing north. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Again,
So
can I ride in the rain? Yes. if it's raining and it's like I have to go somewhere and we have to go through rain to get there, absolutely. If I'm just going to go ride for fun and it's rain, it's not fun.
No.
I don't enjoy it.
Not only that, but when it's fall like it still is, we still have a bunch of leaves that are falling. And when the rain comes, it does knock more leaves out and pine needles. And that feels even more dangerous to ride. Just want to say.
Yeah.
Last year we tried to go up to Wolfpen Gap. It actually was a day where it was still cold. The day before had been the weekend before had been really cold, and then the
icy
and stuff. And so we go up there, and we're like, you know what? Nobody's gonna be up here.
Nobody was up there. Sure.
Nobody was up there for sure, no doubt. And on the way in, like until we got to the traffic circle right there, where
Trehilta's grave.
Yeah, Trehilta's grave,
where the stone pile is.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Until we got there, it was great. Like the roads were nice and clean and there was nobody there and I was kind of getting into it a little bit. Then as soon as we got past that area, we just hit nothing but like salt and dirt because they had obviously put a lot of it down over the weekend. And so and there's nowhere to turn around for like 3 miles. So we were like,
It was scary, riding through all that gravel, salt. And you're like, when am I going to drop this bike? So we turned around at Two Wheels and we're like, you know what? That's it. We're not even going to attempt Wolfpen Gap
not
at this
with
point.
this. Not with this.
So we
It's
turned
not
around.
fun. It's like, I don't know, treacherous or something. It's not fun.
We were riding back the other day and got pelted by some truck that was dropping rocks.
Yeah. When we rode to, when we went up to the Dragon area.
Yeah.
Tapoka.
Tapoka. I always say it wrong. God dang.
I know.
I want to go back. The place is so pretty.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been having, some family stuff and
Got to see the rents for Thanksgiving. We talked about that.
yeah. And we just been busy with work because like this is the last month of the year, and we're trying to, squeeze as much juice as we can out of this year.
Totally makes sense.
So
It's an interesting time, especially in our industry this time of the year. A lot of companies kind of get lazy. A lot of sales reps are, end of the year, they've hit their numbers or they haven't hit their numbers. They've kind of resigned to what the rest of the year is going to be. So it's our job to make them realize, hey, everybody else is being lazy. You guys get out there and sell.
Is that what you say?
Absolutely. All your competition is taking it easy. They're fat. They're enjoying the holidays. They're drunk. Just go ahead and scoop on in and take that business.
Business.
So I'm actually wearing an ode to Die Hard, which
yeah, we watched that this weekend.
we did.
Yeah, you watched it. It's my Christmas movie.
It is
So
a
it's our
Christmas movie.
first Christmas movie that we watched
Nice.
this year.
Yeah,
The next one will probably be, Family Vacation,
which is
with
my
Chevy Chase.
favorite Christmas movie.
You guys are so cute. So can I just ask, like, what is your routine? Do you have like a ritual that you do at Christmas time that's like you have movie night, Christmas movie night?
Christmas is a kind of a unique time for us too because our anniversary is Christmas Day. So
Right.
we're celebrating Christmas, but we're also kind of celebrating, our anniversary at
Is
the
it
same
11
time.
years?
No, this is
not
9.
yet.
9? Oh, I don't know why I thought you already did your 10th.
Next year we hit 10.
Oh boy.
We're going
Married.
back to Vegas.
Okay, we're going back to.
Yes.
I mean, no,
Yes.
going on your anniversary.
Back,
No.
back
We
to
want
Vegas. Boo.
Wait, do that again. That was awesome.
Yeah, when we got married, there was nobody there. It was just us. I was actually talking to someone about that. This generation's different. This new generation. She was talking about her wedding and how she's told them when
To propose.
to propose,
Oh,
how to
like
propose.
schedule the whole thing?
Scheduled it out. Designed her own ring, and it's like she goes, but this is my day. I want it to go the way I want it to go, and I'm like, I got you.
I mean,
I feel you.
If your proposal and your engagement is that huge, can you imagine the expectations for your wedding?
Wow.
well, what about the marriage?
Wow.
Oh my God.
But again, I mean, she's a sweet girl, and I wish her all the best luck. But it's just one of those things when you hear people talking like that, you're like, you have no idea how little that actually matters. You just don't know how little it matters.
Question. Do you think that it is completely or majorly influenced by social media where
Absolutely.
you have to have it all beautiful?
1,000%.
Absolutely.
Because I was thinking about prom proposals. I never even heard of that. Like,
Dude.
who cares?
Yes, they had proposals when you went to the prom like that. I remember that, but it wasn't as amped up and like as crazy as it is these days.
There are only so many ways to ask someone.
There are so many things that I always feel like an old man because I go through social media sometimes and I just get so annoyed at the things that I see.
Are you a grumpy old man?
I am. Whether we're talking about that, prom proposals, gender reveals, or these overly staged marriage proposals, or even things like Elf on a Shelf.
Oh.
Like, these are grown human beings posing these little toys around, and they're like, it's for the kids. Nope. You went out and built a pool set. You're still playing with Barbies as an adult. You're putting that on social media to be like, look how clever I am with my Elf on the Shelf. That is not for the kid. That is for you. I'm so cynical. I know I am, but I think all of that stuff is prevalent these days because everybody has a show. Yeah, if you remember, there was like that famous thing in the future, everyone will have a show, which is one of the great things about social media, right? Everyone has a voice. Also, one of the worst things about social media is that everyone has a voice.
Agreed.
You have to go through that.
Agreed.
But I don't know. Look, I'm trying not to steal the thunder from anybody. If you enjoy doing Elf on the Shelf, you do these things, but let's be honest about what they are. Yeah. They're for you. They're for you. Look how good I was. Look how clever I was today. Look, I recreated the Die Hard scene. Look, Elf is Gruber. It's like,
no, did someone do that?
Oh, people do that. They go
no
so far with these things. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop.
No, I think about that Elf on the Shelf video of like the girl who was screaming bloody murder because there was like one of the siblings was holding the elf and she was like screaming like it was horrible and this mom's like, what? And this kid's like holding it. Because you're not supposed to touch it or something like that. I don't really know. I missed that whole window, thankfully. I just was like, oh my, this is very serious, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's another thing to torture your kids with. You better behave. Santa is watching.
And so I know. And he sent his elf down to watch. You.
He sees you when you're sleeping. It's so creepy. Why is this guy watching me? I did it too. Like, I lied to my kids just like everybody else did, you know, but I always felt so weird about it because for two reasons. One, I genuinely did not like lying about it. And two, like, I bought that.
Santa didn't buy that for you.
I bought that shit.
Oh, Santa knew what my favorite perfume was, and he got it for me. Meanwhile, my favorite candy. Why did Santa put these oranges in my stocking?
My mom, that was my mom's move. Look, again, you know, my mom would always, you'd have like 3 or 4 pieces of candy, a Hot Wheel, something like that. Yeah. And then the bottom of it was oranges and bananas. And my mom's like, they're good for you. And it was like, they're space takers. What those things are is they take up a lot of space in the stocking. I see what you're doing there, Mom.
So silly.
What was your best Christmas gift when you were a kid?
Me? Mm-hmm. Best Christmas gift. I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
And did you really celebrate much of that?
No, we didn't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Wait, why not?
Because
is it religion?
I grew up Muslim, so no Christmas, you know, no pagan holidays. So no Christmas, Easter, all those that they considered. So, and Halloween. So until I was probably around 11 or 12, and that's when I could, you know, decide on my own what I wanted to do. And honestly, I kind of, even though we had our own holidays where we celebrated and we got gifts during those holidays, like we fasted during Ramadan, and then Eid is the holiday that you like give the gifts, break fast, all that. That's when that ends. But growing up in America, you know, where that was like prevalent, it was really hard for me not to be to feel some kind of way about like not being able to celebrate Christmas and like why can't we? All my friends celebrate it. Like they're all getting toys and here I am not being able to do that. But it did make me have a different relationship with holidays, whereas I'm not as invested, but I still want to like go through the like as a tradition, right? Because I think that that's what it is. It's like more of a tradition and what your kids will like remember growing up.
Right.
You know, as they get older, they'll remember.
Right. You were
like
talking
that.
about gifts wise. I really don't remember specific gifts, I guess, but I remember being allowed to have mimosas. Like when I was a teenager, we would have mimosas in the morning. All of us, I was one of 5 kids, one of 5 kids. And that was special. And we would have it in special Waterford crystal glasses. And my mom would make specific foods that were kind of associated with the holiday. Those are the things that I remember more as those traditions, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Not so much a specific thing, but
Yeah.
oh, I like that you were able to choose.
Yeah, I did. And then when, you know, I had Ocean, my son, it was like very, I don't know. I just loved being able to do that with him. And then him growing up and like knowing that that's not real or whatever, but also still kind of going through the motions with the tradition and then it being a thing. And then when he and I got together, it was a thing that we did for the kids and we would everybody go to sleep at a certain time, you know, Santa's coming. Yeah. But then that was like our time to kind of like chill, relax, kind of
get everything ready,
you know, get everything ready, but also it's like talk about the future and like family and like what family means to us and all that kind of stuff. So
and your anniversary, the next day.
And then when we got married, it was our anniversary. So
yeah. I think one of my I've got 2 gifts that I remember. One was a bike. I got a bike, and I'll never forget that because that was the next thing that because as we were talking about earlier, when you're a kid, you don't have a lot of freedom, especially when you live in rural South Carolina. I've seen the woods.
Yeah.
I've explored all of these woods.
Yeah.
Right. But a bike allowed me to go just a little bit further. You know, I could ride to the Double B downtown Gaston.
It wasn't called the Double D.
It wasn't called the Double D. Now think about it. He didn't just call it BB. He wrote out Double B. And we had another one called The Store. I kid you not. It's still there. It's still there. I showed it to her the other day.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Go in the store.
Yeah. It's called The Store.
It actually looks pretty cool now. It's kind of
that's not the original store. Oh. They built The Store 2 across the street from The Store. But the bike allowed me to go a little bit further, and then and then the second one. So my stepdad raised me most of my life, but I do have a biological father, and I had asked him one year, I would really like a TV for my room. Because my preacher who had moved away, Preacher Carell, great preacher when I was a kid, I'd go over to their house and play Nintendo all the time. But my family's not buying a Nintendo. We couldn't afford things like that, right? And then when he left, he gave me his Nintendo. And so I go home and my dad has this old console TV with the other TV on top, right? So 100%. I know that's like a meme, but that is exactly what we had, an old wooden TV with another TV on top. And I brought it home and I was like, I can't wait to play Mario Brothers. And my stepdad was like, you ain't plugging that thing up to my TV, it'll blow it up. But that's how they thought back then, right? I was going to blow the TV up. But the reality is he didn't want me to take up his TV time, right? He knew I'd be in there.
Andy Griffith. All in the Family.
All in the Family, 100%.
In your chair?
That's still his like little
That's where
ritual.
he's at.
Oh my.
When I was growing up, you'd walk out in the living room and there he is, naked to his whitey tighties. Just laid back in his recliner, drinking a Miller High Life, just watching Andy Griffith for hours. That's what he did.
That's good times.
That's good times for him. But again, I mean, it's simple, but he liked it. So anyways, I asked my biological dad, who was the one who had some money, at least I thought. I mean, looking back, he wasn't that well off, but he had more money than we did.
Okay.
So I asked him for a TV. All right,
Okay.
I know he's giving me the like wrap it up. You see the wrap it up look, Chuck?
No, is that what that is?
That's what it is. It's the wrap it up.
Do you know? What's your wrap it up look? Let's get it on.
This. Wrap it up. We need to get one.
Do you have your shortcut looks to each other?
She wrap it up. So anyways, so just long story short, my dad came through and he bought me a camper trailer TV. Do you know what those are?
Yes, I do. They're little.
They're 5 inches.
They're like a box.
It's a 5-inch screen. It's black and white and no RF inputs for you to be able to connect.
Your Mario.
My Nintendo. The reason my eyes are bad now is because I broke open the back of that thing and figured out how to get the signal to the 100%.
Did you really?
My brothers were upset because I was tearing up the Nintendo, figuring out which wires did whatever. But I figured it out, and I got Mario Brothers on it. So for the first 2 years of me playing Mario Brothers, it was like this. And it's in black and white. I didn't even know what colors were.
How old were you?
I was so young.
11?
Maybe like 2 years after the Nintendo came out with Super Mario Brothers on it.
Okay, so I gotta look that up because
Yeah. Think about how you're still doing that kind of stuff, though, Chuck.
The
You're still
technical
like,
stuff?
Yes, you still solve whatever problems. Like, I'm like, Chuck, this screen won't do what I'm asking it to. And then I'm like, I'm out. And you're like, I'll fix it.
I'll tell
That's
you,
exactly what I'm like.
I'll tell you where that was born. My family got a VCR, which was a big deal for us, right? You know, big deal. Now we can watch VHS tapes, and it could record off of live TV.
And then
right?
85. So how old were you?
So this would have been 89 or so. So
5 years old?
No. I was born in 76.
Oh,
so I'd have been like 13.
Okay.
So around there, 12, 13.
I was thinking you were like 11.
But
Wow.
the 11 the stuff that started was younger. So we only had the one VCR and it broke. And as you know, I'm a movie buff, and I'm probably the one that broke it by just watching movies.
Do you remember his Star Wars story where he said that there's like a part where the commercials come in?
Yeah, and he remembers
and
it.
he remembers that.
Yeah.
This is where a commercial.
That's where it came from, because when that thing broke, there was no buying another one. So I figured out how to make it work.
He taped it together.
I literally pulled at least 3 or 4 VCRs apart throughout my life to put them back together and figure out how to make them keep working.
Which is so crazy now that, you know, everything's digital.
Yeah.
And, you know,
You don't have
if you think about it, though, like everything's digital.
You can see it anytime you want.
You can
to,
see it
ever.
anytime you want to.
But it's impermanent.
But if the grid, all of a sudden, like collapses, like it's all gone.
You know, it's funny. It is funny because someone said to me one time, I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. But someone asked me, why do you still buy so much physical media? And I used to say, well, what happens if the grid goes down and I can't watch movies because they're on digital? And they're like, don't you have bigger problems than
You do have bigger
you do have bigger problems. But my point is, I actually do it because I think that the quality of video that you get from 4K and the audio sound is way better than streaming. And you never have to really wait on whether or not there's a good signal or whatever.
And I mean, do you remember I Am Legend?
Yeah, really.
When
Let's
Will
talk about
Smith,
that.
you know, had put in the CD and it was, you know,
It wasn't
our boy.
SpongeBob, was it?
No, it was our reggae dude,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Those 3 Little Birds, and he played that song, and I was like, oh. Every time I hear 3 Little Birds, I think about that movie because that movie, I don't know, for some reason that I love that movie.
This is a weird moment. Earlier today, there were 3 little birds in my backyard, all 3 of them. And I was like, oh, look, there are 3 little birds. And I started singing that song. And now you're talking about that song.
Oh, connection.
You know, something that I've mourned this a little bit because I'm seeing now as I get older, obviously, I'm seeing things come about that are where people are discovering music and movies and stuff from that I assume is just in the zeitgeist, that people know about these groups, like things like Metallica, the Beastie Boys. People, I see all these reaction videos where listening to the Beastie Boys for the first time.
Pink Floyd for the first time. You're like, what?
And you're Pink Floyd.
You've never heard this?
And you're hearing people like, oh my God, I didn't know they were like, these guys are white. They talk about the Beastie Boys and stuff. And it's like, oh my God, how can you not have never heard their music? But so the reason why I was thinking about it is because when I was a kid, I didn't appreciate vinyl at all. But the older I've gotten, I truly,
That's my next question for
truly
you.
appreciate vinyl.
It's about records because my son has a record player and loves
Nice.
vinyl. He's old soul.
Yeah.
And it's interesting it's funny because we don't have the right speakers for it, but we had to get an adapter that allows Bluetooth to hook up to the
Crazy.
turntable. And then he's got this little speaker that he can walk around and listen to. And I'm like, this is the wildest thing, that you can listen to this old vinyl record. And it's like a real, true old vinyl record on a Bluetooth thing. But it's the sound quality, would you say, is vastly different?
Yeah, there's a warmth to vinyl and I know that's cliche to say, and I know that's a meme, but it's true. When you listen to vinyl, there's a different quality to the sound. Because I listened to, when I was a kid, people didn't appreciate it when it first came out, but the Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. When you go back and you listen to that album now, it sounds like, oh yeah, this sounds familiar. But when that first came out, no one was making music like that.
Yeah.
And so the first time that I listened to it growing up was on CD or cassette. But as an adult, sticking the vinyl on, and I do not know how to explain it, it gives you a whole different audio sphere to listen to from that song. Even the Beatles albums that we've went back and just sat down and re-listened to all of their music on vinyl, it has just a different quality to it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's more of a physical, it might be the fact that it's translating physical media into physical sound versus a recreation of that sound.
Right.
That might be what it is.
Versus digital.
Yeah.
But did you hear about the people that didn't know who Ozzy Osbourne was?
Yeah, there's so many.
Didn't he do a
Black
collaboration with, what was it, like Justin Bieber or somebody, where people were like, wow, Ozzy Osbourne's really going to blow up after this, some kind of crazy collaboration like that where people didn't know that Ozzy Osbourne
Well, first of all, I know. So I wasn't aware of, I knew Ozzy Osbourne, right? And like who he was after Black Sabbath. But Chuck introduced me to like who Ozzy Osbourne was when he was like 19, 20, 21,
Black Sabbath.
starting out.
Yeah.
And like, same guy.
His voice was so great.
Voice.
I know.
Oh my God. And his lyrics and like the music, I'm like, this is a freaking teenager singing this shit. Like, honestly, like, amazing.
Incredibly talented.
Yes.
Yeah, we watched one where someone listened to Pink Floyd for the first time. And on one level, I'm like sad they don't know who Pink Floyd is yet, right? But also think about getting to listen to that music for the first time again. Because there were two people as a couple listening to the song, and apparently she was talking about how sometimes she deals with depression or whatever. Mm-hmm. And as this song played, she just started crying because it touched her, like the music itself touched her.
Yeah.
And so I do envy that. Like I've listened to all of this music so many times that now I'm into listening to the intricacies of the audio and how they're producing it versus actually still getting to experience
that
Pink
music.
Floyd for the first time. I have one of those earlier in life. I got in a little trouble. Had to go, deal with some of that. But part of that was this thing that I got to go to in this group setting where they would play music and then talk to you about how that music made you feel as a person. And I had never, growing up where I grew up, my parents were very Christian. And so I wasn't allowed to listen to things that were considered the devil's music, rap, any of that stuff. So, but this was my first experience getting to experience this. And I was like 13, 14 at that time as well. And someone played Metallica 1. And they were saying how this song helps them get through things. And as I sat there and listened to that song, when I tell you it changed how I perceived music, and I know it's a very popular Metallica song now, but it's my favorite Metallica song specifically because when it plays, I can remember the moment I heard it, what was going on in the room, how it smelled, how it felt. And it gives me that experience of, oh my God, people were keeping this from me. people were keeping these lyrics, this information, this way of experiencing the world from me. Yeah. And I genuinely think it's the thing that caused me to, one of the things at that period in my life, finding out that the narratives I had been led with my entire life, maybe they didn't know any better. Maybe that's how they were led. It is what it is. But finding out, wait a minute, I don't know if what I've been told to this point is everything I should consider when I'm thinking about how I view the world. Yeah. That song did that for me.
Did they really call it the devil's music?
Oh, absolutely.
They did. That's how I feel about, Jay-Z's Big Pimpin'. Just kidding.
Same.
Just kidding. No, but not kidding.
It is true. Like the first time I heard The Chronic, I was like, what is this? You can just do this? Right? And then that sent me down a journey of going all the way back to Curtis Blow and listening back to old school hip hop.
Tupac's Dear Mama.
Right. It's like, this stuff's out there. This stuff is out. I could be listening to this stuff.
You could be a rapper. You could have been Eminem. Think about that. Think about, you were an amazing rapper and you know all the lyrics. Like, we're sitting in the car and I'm like, man, Chuck, I don't think I've actually really listened to this song before, like closely, and you know all of it. Kind of amazing.
Yeah, I get really obsessed with stuff and go deep on it, but sometimes I wish I could turn it off because my brain is so full of useless nonsense.
No, it helps.
Does it?
It helps when you know some stuff.
So we started off as talking about how Die Hard's a Christmas movie, but I do want to talk about an attempt we made to watch. We were like, you know what? We watched a trailer for a movie and we're like, that movie.
It looked good at the time.
That movie's going to be part of our world.
So it didn't help that they had the, I don't know, not the preface, but just kind of like this is the trailer, and it had like, hey, this is a mix between this movie and that movie, and we're like, we love those movies. Like, it's obviously going to be great. So the movie we're talking about is called Anna and the Apocalypse. And what she's referring to is the trailer for it shows, by the way, watch the trailer. You've seen all the best parts. They compared it to Shaun of the Dead.
They're like, it's Shaun of the Dead meets rock and roll. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I was like, musicals for me, I like musicals, but they're hit or miss, right? They have to be good. Like, I like Chicago. I like Across the Universe. I like Moulin Rouge. I do not like High School Musical.
Zac Efron.
Right?
Right. Get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game.
I don't like this. We're in a gym, right, filming, and we're all in the bleachers bopping along stuff. I'm not.
You don't feel anything when you watch
I'm not into that. It doesn't speak to me.
But Shaun of the Dead speaks to you.
Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite movies. It deconstructed the entire zombie genre, and in addition to that, it's fucking hilarious. Yes. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's one of the early versions of where Edgar Wright got introduced to the world. So you get to see that. It's kind of like the living, the Sam Raimi.
Oh.
Night of the Living Dead. The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead. Like when you first saw that, and you see the early traits of Sam Raimi and what he's going to do. That's okay.
I'm like,
yeah, one of those movies.
Yeah. But it was Edgar Wright when he got introduced to the world. Now, Edgar Wright had done things before that, but nobody knew who he was really. And that's really what made him big. So you mentioned Shaun of the Dead. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay.
Right.
So then we watched the trailer and I was like, okay, it's going to be low budget. We knew that. But interesting concept, a zombie apocalypse that breaks out during Christmas with Christmas musical music, right? So I'm like, all right, let's try it. So we drank some whiskey, right? And we sat down to watch this movie.
This movie first of all, it took an hour to get into where you're seeing any zombies, which we were being patient. Like normally we would have cut it off and said, you know what? That's it.
But they promised me zombies.
They took an hour, at least 45 minutes to get to the point where these people are interacting with zombies. And then the bad characters and the main characters and the zombies weren't even that good.
Yeah.
It was
And then they had like they had like one or two songs in it that you were able to go, okay, maybe they're picking up steam, right? But they didn't. It just got worse and worse and worse. And then like the special effects, like there's this thing that you want in special effects where it's seamless, right? When you watch Shaun of the Dead and you see one scene where they're going to, attack a zombie and break his arm or stab him or whatever. And they do the second cut and it looks natural, like they're still in that same motion. Every time they would cut to a big special effects shot, it was very stationary. Like you would see him go to like hit with two, like there's this one scene in a bowling alley where he cracks the zombie's skull open with two bowling balls and he goes like that. But you can clearly tell where he stops. And then the next scene is the guy's head just perfectly still. And he goes, and so it just takes you totally out of it. And then the acting was atrocious.
Acting was atrocious. The singing was atrocious. The plot was atrocious. Like, I'm like, what are we doing here?
And then, like, it was so, again, I know I'm asking for a lot from movies, I guess, especially one named Anna and the Apocalypse, I guess. But it was so inconsistent in the power level of the characters. One guy overpowers another guy that would never happen in a million years. This guy's a ton bigger than him, and the next scene he's beating him up.
So
like, how does this work? It doesn't make any sense.
Are they trying to do the thing where it's so bad that it becomes like a cult classic?
I actually, at one point,
he said that, hey, this is just like they're trying to do this effect where it's just terrible. But honestly, I think that was their.
No, that was their. It was terrible.
That was their.
If they were going for a Sharknado or a They Came Together, which you've never seen that movie. It's so good. It's the girl from Parks and Rec, Amy Poehler, and was it not Luke Wilson?
It's called Owen.
Paul Rudd.
Oh, Paul Rudd.
It's called They Came Together.
They Came Together, and it's basically like this over the top, super cliche. They're winking at you the whole time.
Oh yeah,
but it's charming.
It's so good. It's a send up of like romantic comedies and how they don't make sense and all that stuff. It's so good.
Yeah.
But if they were going for something like that, they don't have the talent to pull it off. It looked just like bad, like they didn't know what they were doing. It made me so upset because like I was like, oh man. And then like we were about an hour and 15 minutes into it, and we were like, this is torture. But I was like, nope.
Sunken costs. You've
I'm
stayed
too far.
this far.
I'm too far. I want to be able to trash this movie, so I'm going to watch it to the end. So they can't. You didn't watch all of it. I watched every bit of it. And I regret it. And I regret it.
I know. I was like, why did we just waste 2 hours of our life?
So this is a very non-glowing review of Anna and the Apocalypse. Don't waste your time. I'm kind of insulted they made it.
But we did watch Mad Max
again,
Fury Road for like the 90th time.
So good.
Never.
And honestly, this time, like he was saying after we watched it, we kind of like talk about like what we saw different because I mean we watched it probably like 10 times.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. But every time you watch it, it's like you follow a different character through the movie when you watch it like the 5th time. And so you get to see how their character evolves and like what their storyline is. And so this time I was really honed in. The first time I was honed in on Max, that was in theaters. But I didn't really understand who he was trying to be in that movie. This time it really like kind of like hit me where he's this calm, cool, collected, like maniac of a person who has gone crazy because he's let some people in his life die through this apocalypse that they're dealing with, and he has that weight on his shoulder. And then for him to kind of like put that aside to try to get through to saving these other lives that he's trying to help get past this bad guy or whatever. And he doesn't do a ton of like, there's not a ton of words. It's not a huge monologue. He's just very calm, cool, collected. And when he speaks, it just like, it does resonate with you. So, I mean, I saw that, and then The Girl, because they're actually coming out with another, like a prequel to this.
Wait.
So, The Girl, who is played by
Anna Taylor.
no, Anna Taylor. In this movie,
Yeah, would you please look that?
Fury Road?
And the one we just watched?
Yeah.
No. That's Charlize Theron.
yeah, Charlize.
Oh.
So she plays this Furiosa.
Might be
girl.
one of her best roles too.
Really?
Yeah.
And I love it when she plays like these characters that have like she's just strong and domineering and strong-willed, and like when she plays like the hokey roles, I'm like, But when she gets into that, like she did in Monster,
Yeah, you can feel.
you can feel just like the energy and just like,
I think that's the thing too. The more I watch it, I agree with you. I pay attention. Obviously, I've obsessed about the set design and the special effects. That just amazing in that movie. And again, most in camera. So super excited about that.
What I love too is that, like, what you're talking about is how when you see a movie once or twice or 3 times, as you've evolved in your life, they hit different.
You see it different.
That's really neat, though.
It's actually so. I when we watched it the second time, I didn't give it enough credit for the performances in it. I thought that it was a good action movie, but when you actually go back and you kind of are numb to the action, you kind of know how that's going to go, and you get to pay attention to the characters.
yes, I think that's what it is.
You get to see. I really did not give him enough credit for his performance in the movie. I thought he did a good job of carrying the movie forward, but when you watch it, when you really pay attention to his mannerisms and stuff, you see him go through emotions when he's not talking much. Same thing with Furiosa. Same thing even with the War Boy in it.
So the War Boy, you need to watch this movie.
I do.
'Cause here I am talking to someone who hasn't
No,
watched
go.
it.
I want to understand.
But the War Boy, so all these guys that were pretty much kind of like beholden to this one guy's will, you know, they went out and like ravaged and got food and supplies
And now he
bring
controls
back.
all the water, which he poisons.
Yeah, and he controls everything, but these people are living to die, basically.
Yeah.
So
Healthy babies are
basically-
rare.
they basically want to live to die for the cause, whatever that is, right?
Kind of like Vikings. They have a very Viking
Yeah.
feel to them.
Yeah. So they live to die for where do they say they're going? To Valhalla.
Valhalla.
That's where they'll be free. That's like heaven to them. So
But they all have cancer. They're all dying.
yeah, they all have like diseases and like
Good
weird
Lord.
stuff.
Because this guy's diseased and he poisons the water. Anyways, it's actually a really good movie. I think that a lot of people give it a blush as just an action movie, but when you kind of look at it, it really speaks a lot to the human condition and how people control resources. And you think you're getting this good thing because, well, you need it, but it's really poison.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, and then they break down society into like the bullet makers, and all, it's just
Yeah.
it's really well done.
And then one thing that they say that's crazy that he says as like this warlord, he basically is telling them like, don't get used to water
Yeah.
because the water.
Do not become addicted to
Do
water.
not become addicted to water. It will take over you.
You'll
And
miss
like,
its absence.
what? Water?
the
Like
basics,
that's
Yeah.
what you need to
All right.
survive.
foundation
So
of life.
I think we've done over an hour at this point. I think we did a great.
No.
Oh,
not-
that's
not
right. We
quite an
started
hour,
we started
but-
at 7:30. That's
Wait,
right.
you want to head out?
No. My brain's like, I saw 8:13 and I was like, oh, wow, because we normally start
Yes,
at 7.
that's right.
My apologies. I have another movie I tried to watch,
What?
Expendables 4.
Oh yeah, I wasn't with you for this one.
I was on a plane to Dallas and
Do you know what the Expendables are? Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and like,
Nah, I don't know if John's in
he's
it.
not in that one.
No, I had Tony Jaa in it, which was disappointing.
Oh,
I love, obviously, movies, right? But martial arts movies have always have had an affinity for them. And so, like, Tony Jaa came out with Ong Bak and a few of The Protector and all that, and he's a phenomenal martial artist. It's great films. But they've done this thing where they've collected all of these action film guys, and the first Expendables was a good. It had a gimmick, right? It's fun. It's kind of violent. Expendables 2 was like, eh. Expendables 3, I barely could watch it. But I was on the plane.
What else are you gonna do?
Nothing else was catching my fancy.
Yeah.
It was like Blue Beetle, Barbie, or The Expendables 4, right? So I was like, all right, let me give this a shot. And it's just so boring. Like you watch the same kind of trucks pulling into the military base, the same kind of, oh, here's this badass taking over. Now it's going to be the bad guy in the movie. And same tired dialogue about being old. And it felt old. It felt expendable. For the fourth time. Just, I could not, I was like, all right, someone needed a paycheck. All these guys.
Is it like
needed a
the
paycheck.
100,000th Fast and Furious kind of thing? You know, where
God.
like
Was it worse than that though? 'Cause
Yes.
we could tolerate some of those Fast and
So the
Furious.
Fast and the Furious movies you can enjoy because at least you get to see some cool ass cars. Special effects are pretty cool. Just ignore any of the talking, right?
So the Expendables is like triple X times.
It's like that.
5.
Yeah. It's just bad. It's
Yeah.
triple X 2 times 5.
Mm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Ice Cube, but what was he doing in
But
an
triple
action
X
movie?
wasn't a great movie.
It
to
wasn't
begin
good
with.
either, but at least it was in that vein. Like, okay, I see why they made this movie.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel's whatever. When they made Triple X 2, I was like, what? Ice Cube as an act? I don't believe him snowboarding. I don't.
You know, when you like get addicted to cigarettes.
No, that's Ice T.
Oh, my bad.
That's Ice T.
That's right.
That's
That's,
Ice
right.
T.
That's right.
Yeah, that's Ice T.
Uh,
Oh, you mean like when you
mean
can't?
like, yeah.
Ice
John
T?
Mulaney.
Yes.
Yeah, Mulaney. Yeah.
Oh my God, you got that one.
I
Yeah.
got a reference. I'm high-fiving you guys.
Yay.
I'm not as lame as I thought. That's so nice.
Oh, you mean like when you smoke too many cigarettes?
Yeah. You mean like, what did he say? Like people or men that like little kids or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Explaining what a pedophile is.
Yeah,
Okay.
to a
love
guy
it.
in the special victims
Yeah.
unit. Yeah, it's awesome.
Who should already know
Yeah.
what's going on in the world?
Mulaney, I remember watching that first time and just dying because it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so
Because
true.
it's like so true of Ice-T's character.
Yeah. We just watched an episode of Rick and Morty with Ice-T on it.
What? I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, he does a character on there. Now he's Magna T.
I just saw a commercial or on TikTok, and it was about it had LL Cool J in it, and it was about and I'm trying to think of the product, but it was like how you don't want to become like your parents.
Yeah.
It's the guy, no, thank you, you're so sweet, that's trying to explain, how you don't want to become like your parents. This is how you use a cell phone. And so, yeah, I was thinking, wow, look at these like rappers that are kind of like that was cool of him to do this commercial.
Trying to teach us how to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like even though I don't want to be in that old person category,
I'm firmly in
all
the
of
old
this
person
stuff
category.
that's coming out now, I don't even look at TikTok. Like that's not even, I have so much social media to look at. Like that's not even the realm of possibilities for me to get involved in, or
And
I
another
would
one.
go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. There's only
Twitter's
so
the
much
same
time.
thing, or X. I don't watch that stuff because I only have so much time in my day. And so what am I going to fill my time up with?
It's funny because I do go to X and I do use Threads as well. So the social media that
And Threads is the least on my...
the primary ones I use, Instagram's obviously the biggest one that I use, other than YouTube, I think would probably be the biggest one. But I guess that's social media,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But Instagram's the biggest one. Facebook is probably second as far as like posting stuff. But I go to Twitter because I just love seeing the outrage that's on there right now. But it's so weird because obviously a few months ago it was all like super left. Now it's, I think
Supposedly in the middle.
it's interesting when you go too far to one side, everything to any side of it looks like it's extreme to the other side, right? Like if you go too far right, anything that's just here is considered left. If you go too far left, anything that's just here is considered right? So I would actually say that X is fairly balanced right now. Like I see a ton of stuff on there from the left side, and I see a ton of stuff on there from the right side, which I think is how it should be. But you don't see a ton of stuff on the right side from anywhere else. Like you go to Threads, give it up. It is all left, all the exact things you would expect to see on there. So I like having the two because I feel like I get to see what these crazy people are talking about, and then I get to see what these crazy people are talking
You're
about.
trying to get fair and balanced from different angles.
Yeah,
right?
I usually think that, but
It's all lunacy.
But what's weird today, what's weird for me today is stuff is so extreme in either direction. You're like, where the hell is the middle? Where is it? Like, you can't have nuanced conversations anymore. You can't say, well, I could see where this person was coming from and where this, what? Immediately you're ostracized.
Yeah.
And on the,
I feel like
the
people
other
have already made up their decisions about what they think.
Mm-hmm.
And
They look for confirmation bias, right? They
100%.
look for things that.
And if you're not right in lockstep with them, then they'll have an issue with you. So
Good
I
times.
try to keep all that stuff
I do too.
She doesn't.
outside.
I dive in on it.
Do you?
He does, and it makes me super anxious
Why does
like-
it make you anxious?
But
because I don't know, like there's something about confrontation and like that sort of a situation that gets me super like anxious.
it is
And I don't know
interesting.
how to like control what I'm saying or thinking. So like I'll just sit there and I'm like, oh my God, will this just stop? At any second, I know that somebody's going to stop arguing and then we'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know if it was just like something that's I've dealt with when I was younger or what, but like that
It's a bad energy. It's like a
energy,
yeah.
like I cannot handle.
Can't either.
And I'm probably the opposite.
And he's so like for it. He's like,
Fight me on this.
he's antagonistic at
Yes.
times,
Like
right?
I'm here for it. Like, oh, you want to challenge me on my logic? Let's go. And I think I have a little bit of an advantage a lot of times because I don't get emotional. So when people are like, "Arr," and I'm like, just super calm. Logic the hell out of you. Did you hear what you just said? That's usually what did you hear what you just said
I said
yourself?
deuces.
Yeah. No, whenever people like get all emotional and start arguing with you and they just say some wild ass shit, like I never let that shit pass. I'm just like, did you do what you just said?
I know.
No. We're not moving on till we address that. You just said that out of just pure emotion just now, didn't you? I'll pull that out of you. Have to.
I
Have
know.
to.
I feel like I'm the grandpa that I'm the grandpa that Kevin Hart talks about when he's talking about like, you know, and it's like one of his first couple of specials, he's talking about the grandpa looking out the door and he's like, come here, look at it. Would you look at this? The cat's drinking milk out the bowl. Get out the bowl. Like, like what the hell? Like, I feel like that grandpa. Like, I feel that old. Like, stop drinking milk out the bowl. Get on about your business. Leave my porch alone.
It's funny because my stepson and I, Ocean, who, you know, we get into this thing every now and then. He and I get along 99.9% of the time.
Oh my
But
God, the other night.
There's one topic you
The
cannot bring
other
up with
night.
this young man. You cannot bring it up with him because if we do, on any level, we are going to argue.
I was so uncomfortable
And
the
what's-
other night,
and-
Sharon, like literally
And what's
sitting
crazy
on
about
my
it,
couch.
I'm not trying to argue with him, but he cannot. So I'll tell you what the argument is. It's LeBron James.
What?
So
He's been a LeBron fan since like
man could do no wrong.
since he was 8 years old. Okay.
Okay.
Like I took him to see the Heat playing because LeBron started off with the Cavaliers, right? He started off with the Cavaliers. He was on that team, and then he switched when Ocean was like 9 or 10. He switched or 9. He switched to the Heat, the Miami Heat, and so they were playing at
Like Phillips or whatever
Phillips,
it is. Yeah.
whatever it is now. And it was actually a customer of mine who cleaned up. Like they
So
would
he's a
do
big LeBron fan.
the whole cleaning, and so we got like sweet tickets and all this stuff, which is really cool. Here you are, so he's doing my thing.
Yeah.
Get on with the story.
Yeah,
Get on with the story.
Did you look at her?
I gave it to her. It's like 'cause this
Let's see.
doesn't
What's the
It
enhance.
has nothing to do with the story, but he had a great time watching him and all that stuff, right? And so, as he got older, and he knows like he can tell stats.
Well, he
like,
played basketball.
It's nobody's business, but you know how kids are when they're younger.
Yeah.
They know stats for football, basketball. Like they know players' names. Like people that are insignificant on the team, they know their names. And so
where he went to school, high school.
And so he's
played
always
on the B
had
team.
this. He's always had this kind of thing with Chuck where Chuck's like, yeah, Michael Jordan. And he's like, no, LeBron. And so it's always been this back and forth thing.
So
Oh no.
so it's funny is like even his the way he likes LeBron is, in my opinion, even more than I like Michael Jordan. Like I grew up with Michael Jordan. Think he's one of the icons of my generation, right? But he can do wrong. He for sure has made mistakes and has not always played. There have been games I watched where he did not win, right? So, but
Yeah.
So, anyways, this thing happened to LeBron the other day where a coach told him to stop complaining and stop basically being a bitch. That's what he said, right? Right, and LeBron got all emotional and went back at him, and then it ensued, right? Okay. Back and forth. Now, my contention is a man needs to control his emotions, right? You're at work. Check your emotions. Stop doing that nonsense where you're arguing with someone on the sideline. That's how I saw it, right? So,
I mean, and you're a veteran at this point.
Yeah, you're
like,
not.
What do you have to prove?
You're not 20.
You're younger. Like you're not in your 20s. I mean, he's probably in his late 30s, maybe. Probably my age right now.
So so basically, LeBron goes back and forth. Now, my take on that was, and really, I expected just to give him a little bit of crap, right? I said, "Hey, what do you think about that thing happening with LeBron?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, I mean, you shouldn't have been talking junk or whatever." And it's like, well, to me, it sounded like the guy said, "Hey, stop being soft," and then LeBron acted softer.
Did you purposely say
he
that?
He did. I was upstairs.
Oh, no.
I was upstairs, and I come down to the son and Chuck like going back, and I'm like,
"No, he's soft. He's soft." He's like, what are you going to do? You just going to take it? Yeah, because you got a job to do. You weren't letting this guy get in your head. Go play. You got to focus on basketball.
Producer chaos. I'm sitting here like, what did I just walk in on?
And you
First
were
of all, I was super uncomfortable. I'm sitting there like,
so when
my God, are you guys going to stop talking?
When I tell you, like, now for me, and I don't know if Ocean's enjoying it. I don't know if he's upset, but I'm enjoying this, right? Because I'm making my point. He's getting emotional about it, and I'm over here going, this is what I'm talking about. You need to check that, blah, 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 blah. He's like, well, men should be able to talk about their emotions. Like, yeah, if they don't want to get anything done. Right?
So then that goes on, and I'm like, what the heck? Oh, my God. Like, seriously, guys?
So then I'm like, real men, in order to get shit done, they check that shit, and they move forward. They don't let this dude get them emotional.
And then it turned out to be some kind of like getting drafted for the army. Like it went into some like long ass like proving to be a man type situation. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, seriously?
This is your not happy moment.
Like,
but Zee's upset, right?
I have to go to bed.
So Zee's upset and she's angry. She doesn't want this to continue.
Like I'm not upset. I'm just like I feel super. I don't know how to explain that feeling.
I know what you're saying. You just hate the conflict. I get it. It's
the worst for me, especially when it's two people that I love. Right?
But from my standpoint, once we ended, where it was basically like, all right.
But they didn't end it properly.
They
didn't say
minute.
like I
properly
apologize.
To you. But do you know how many times? Hey, what's up, O? Hey, what's up, man? We're good. My point to her afterwards, she was like, oh my God, that was so uncomfortable, and I was like, Z, he's not mad. I'm not mad. We were talking shit about basketball players.
And here I am in my own little like, oh my God, do I have to go up there?
This ain't real.
Do I have to go up there and resolve the conflict between you guys?
You need to hug each other.
Yes.
You're not angry
I
at
want
each
to
other.
see a hug right now.
So is this a gender thing where guys are kind of just like, you're an
good.
asshole. You're an asshole.
I think
We're
they're
done.
good with it.
We are.
And here I am like, you're not good with it until you hug and kiss and make up.
And say, I see your side. Do you see my side? Yeah.
No, we will never see each other's side. And that's the point of it is like, he'll never convince me that LeBron James is anywhere near on the level of an
And
MJ.
that's where you lose me. Because I'm not okay with you not being okay together. Like,
No, we're good.
I'm not okay with you not resolving the conflict.
No, we're good. We're good. We're men. We're good. Right?
We're men.
We are. Like, for instance, I mean, look, some bitches get mad. Some dudes are a little bitch made, and after a conflict, they'll get mad after the fact and want to go fight someone again. But for the most part, most male interactions, once it's done, it's done.
Okay.
Once it's done, it's done.
All right, whatever.
I've got friends that I've literally gone out in the yard with, and he won or I won, right? Said something, shouldn't have said it, put his hands on me, put my hands on him. But after it was over, it's over.
How do you guys like resolve stuff? Because it's like you guys don't talk.
It's resolved.
What? It's resolved because you walk away? Because you got to go home and eat dinner?
No, because we really, once we've gone to that level, it's like, is what just happened where I still like you as a dude. Like,
yeah.
We had to get this male thing out. We got it out. Now we know where we stand.
I just have to say this, that just generally speaking, most women I know, we don't resolve things.
I know y'all are vindictive and mean. I've told this story once before. I got my ass kicked by a girl in 3rd grade. Her name was Rochelle. And when I say no man has ever fought me the way she fought me. Now I again, she wasn't going to hurt me. She was a lot smaller than me, right? But I couldn't hit her back. But when I say she was going for vitals, like she was trying to hurt me, scratching at eyes and stuff. I'm like, hey, I got a long life to live. I'm not trying to blind most of the dudes I'm fighting. Hey, dude, stop fucking around.
Yeah.
And we're done.
No.
But y'all are like, you're going to carry this for your life.
No,
yeah. We want to leave scars.
You'll remember this. Every time you don't.
Emotional ones, too.
She's like, every time you can't look in a mirror,
you're going to think of
you're going to think about me scratching your eyes out in 3rd grade. But she made her point. I still remember her.
Yeah. You're right. You guys did make up. Because, like, afterwards, you were fine. And then the next day, he was cool. So I guess that was the making up part, but I don't know.
I bet if you asked him,
have we ever made up that way? No,
because it's different. We have a different exchange.
How do you guys make up? Wait, just PG version.
No.
Well,
I mean,
keep it very PG because
we have I have to know that
okay.
I was heard, and he has to know that he's heard, right? And then we have to both acknowledge that yes, you were right on this part and I was right on this part. But in this instance, this is where you saw this wrong. And then we're good.
See, I think the intention in the argument is what matters.
And then no, I'm just kidding.
then all the other stuff where I'm like, you didn't really mean that, did you? And she's like, All right.
He's had too much to drink tonight.
I have had a few drinks at this point.
We should go. And scene.
And
all right. But no, I think for us, like, and again, I can only compare from my experience in life. I've been in plenty of arguments in my life where I did not care the damage I did in this argument. My goal is you're going to feel bad for getting in this argument with me.
Yeah.
Right? With Z, I've never once in my life ever wanted this human being to feel bad or negative in any way, shape, or form. And even when I know, like, and we've talked this out where I know I'm 100% right in this scenario. Like, whether we both acknowledge that sometimes I'm in jerk mode and sometimes she's in brat mode. And we literally, hey, you're being a brat. And she'll, oh, you're being a jerk. And we both know those words mean, oh shit, I'm outside of my normal thing, right? I know I'm right, but it doesn't matter. What matters to me right now is my wife's upset, right? So what's important to me is getting her to a place where she knows that whatever's happening in the moment isn't bigger than who we are, right? And we literally have ended conversations that way, where we've said, or arguments that way, where we've go, all right, listen, we are doing the human thing where we're attacking because we're both kind of in our feelings at the moment. Is what we're talking about right now anywhere near as important as to whether or not my feelings are hurt or your feelings are hurt? And the answer to that question is always no. There's nothing that is that important. My job in life is to make her feel good as a human being and to protect her as much as I can and support her and push her up as a person. Only so many people get that from me. And so if I have a job when it comes to her to make sure I do the best I can within that job, right? So what does it matter with whether or not I'm right about whether or not she said something to me a certain way today and it bothered me? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So as long as we couch all of our disagreements within that, we've literally never had anything that lasted more than a couple of hours where we're like, hey, we got to stop talking right now because I'm being me or whatever, and then we'll come back to it and we're good. We're good. And when I'm wrong, it doesn't feel bad. Whenever I was wrong previously in relationships and it would feel bad. Oh shit, I failed. I didn't, I'm stupid. In this scenario,
it was a weakness because they would play.
Right.
You would get
They would
blamed.
use it against me.
Yes, they would use it against you.
It's okay in this scenario for me not always to be right because I have a partner who will pick up that slack for me, right? And I think that I give that to her as well. And so I'm sorry. We went off on that subject a little bit, but people have asked that question before, like, how do y'all handle this? Because I think what we have is unique. It's definitely unique in my life. I've never experienced something like this ever.
Very valuable.
Well, I would want to shout out to the horny Harley Hunkers. Ronnie and Brianna, they said in 5 years they have never had an argument.
Congratulations.
Congrats, guys.
That's amazing. And they sent me a really sweet Christmas card that I got today. So thank you.
So sweet.
It was so sweet.
Oh, love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And all you guys, that guy, you guys always, supporting us.
Thank you.
Tuning in, watching, even if we don't have anything to talk about, we're just talking about, movies you watch.
If you're on the live chat now, right now, only right now, send us your address on Instagram. We'll shoot you out some stickers.
Nice.
Hey.
How is it going with the giveaway that you're doing to?
Oh, that's right. So we only have one more week, guys. That's right. One more week until we announce the winner for the Tapoca Lodge 2 nights stay for you and a friend or a significant other. So one more week. We'll announce that on next Monday, the 18th. Really excited to do that giveaway. It's a really fantastic lodge, stay, and so much fun things to do.
So many activities.
So much room for activities.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I tell you something I'm excited about. So when we build our new bikes, talking bike stuff, check it out. It's a motorcycle podcast. We're going to talk motorcycles for a moment. You ready?
For 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So whenever we started building these bikes, one thing that was really important to me was not to have the traditional gauge set up, right? I wanted a mono gauge really badly. And part of that was because a lot of the performance builds that I had seen, they all had like the double gauges that were transported. And I just really wanted a very clean single gauge. And so we tried to make one work where we had the people that built the bike, they installed the stock gauges inside the fairing and then basically ran jumpers to this other gauge. And it's works most of the time. Sometimes it's off a little bit. So we kind of had to rig up our mono gauge. So about 2 months ago, about 3 months ago, I was like, somebody has to have a solution for this. So really what I was doing is I called COSO, which is the people that made the gauge. And I was like, hey, listen, this is a problem. Can y'all help us get this to work? And they said, we can do you one better. We're actually working on a gauge for the Road Glide. So I was like,
what are the chances?
I was like, oh, for real? And they're like, yeah, it's going to come out. At that time, they weren't 100% sure, but they were like, and I was like, whatever I got to pay, whatever I got to do, I want to get one of the first ones of those.
Yeah.
I have to be on that list. And so like after they 100% hooked us up, they sent it to us. So we got this one, which is so cool. Like, look how small that gauge is.
It's just the top part there?
It's this in this little area right here.
Let me see.
And it has all of the Road Glide stuff on it. So the other one didn't have all of the stuff, including the RDS indicators, which is, your traction control and all that. All of that goes into that little gauge. She's going to pull it out.
If I can.
I cannot wait to get that installed on the bike.
So this is by
COSO.
COSO. So this is the gauge, and then it's going to have all like your indicators down here.
Yeah. And again, it's specifically made for the Road Glide. So
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait
Really
to see it. It's
cool.
so small.
It's a digital gauge, and you get to do like different colors and things like that.
Yeah,
on
you
it,
can
too.
you can put the
I
colors to
love
match your
that.
bike.
I don't know
which-
why that makes me so happy. It just does. It's so fun.
But I can't wait. So I'm super excited about it. We're getting ready to go over to the boys at Killer Creek.
Yeah,
Nice.
get those installed.
Get them
Yeah.
installed and hooked up. By the way, shout out to Killer Creek for doing all this amazing stuff for us. And they just, I think they got everything rebuilt. They had a little bit of a fire a few weeks back, but it's all rebuilt now.
Yeah, for their moto clothes.
Yeah. But
division. But yeah,
yeah, super excited about that. So big shout out to Koso for getting those over to us. And I
Congratulations.
cannot wait to get those on the bike.
Can't
And they're not
wait.
expensive. They're like, what, 3? It's like $289, something like that. I mean, think about it. So that whole big plastic thing that's sitting on top of your bars, on top of the tree, goes away, and all goes into this.
So
can't
nice.
wait. So
Cannot
excited.
wait.
Does it make you want to get on your bike?
Oh my
too?
God.
I know it's so hard.
Duh.
Telling you, just starting my bikes and listening to them. And, it was so hard to not just.
Obviously, with all the bad weather, I've had to do that a few times too. So I warned the neighborhood. I'm good on the Facebook group. Hey, I got to start the bikes for about 10 minutes.
Starting up the bike. I didn't warn the neighborhood.
I
I
know, you
started
just
up last
did it.
Friday. I was like, guess what? They're started. Let's go.
But yeah, like I always kind of stand out there and talk to them. Hey, girls. I know we're not going anywhere today, but I wanted to get you guys warmed up. Sorry to tease you a little bit,
Yeah.
but we'll be on you soon.
Yeah.
Daddy
Hoping to
mi-
get
da-
on them this week, actually.
That's right. Daddy misses you.
Daddy. All right, guys and girls.
Say it again.
We appreciate you joining us tonight, and look forward to checking you guys back in on the 18th. We will not have a Christmas Day podcast. We probably will do it sometime later on that week, and we won't have a New Year's Day podcast either.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out during the week, but thank you for your support and continuous.
We may live stream a little bit from Friendsmas as well. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see. Depends on how drunk we get.
Oh, jeez.
All right, guys. Listen, thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well. Remember, you don't have to smash it.
Yeah.
You gently just stroke it.
Gently touch it.
Jeez Louise. I'm about to click the finish button real quick.
Shiny side up, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining. Bye, guys.